who's thinking about you now? If you were building a wall, or who would tear it all down and pull you through? Or who's thinking about you?
Welcome to Thoughts. I'm your host, Josie James. Again, no interviews today. Strangely enough, this is because of some events that happened in the last couple of weeks. I'm talking about words, bullying, and lying. What do they have in common? More than you think, strangely enough. As far as bullying goes, what exactly is a bully? This is someone who feels the need to intimidate others for reasons unknown, maybe make themselves feel bigger about themselves, maybe they're pathetic. Prime example of this is an incident that happened a couple of days ago. I had been meeting with some friends in a park, similar to this one. We were here in Goodale Park today. And a little old lady is correcting her rather large dog. She is grabbed by the collar because it's doing something bad. How to best describe this guy? I'd say roughly about 6'2", being polite, 280 to 300 pounds. It's not muscle. It's chastising her for checking her dog, for making it behave. Now, interesting enough, what happens next is she threatens to sick the dog on him. He said, "I have a gun on my hip. I can handle this. You go ahead and And then I start to check him about it, because what's he doing trying to check a 4'11", 72-year-old woman? Brave man. Now, of course, what I told him was, of course, not afraid of your gun, break it out. Well, I'll take you on. And he's doing, and all of a sudden, he accidentally lets go of his leash, and his dog takes off. Well, you are so lucky, and takes off. That's a bully. No cameos. People who have been on my show before are trying to get cameos. No cameos.
I've never been on your show, Joe. That's how you get a cameo.
There's so much for serious subject matter. Okay. Now.
We love you, Joe.
Fans. Who needs them? Anyways. So, mind you, when I was chastising him, of course, now here's where words play into effect. He's calling me fat. I still have a couple of tires left, but this guy had Goodyear, the blimp. So, called me a fag. Well, yeah, I'm gay, but he was swishy. Okay, right. Seriously, Bryce. Come on, get into the serious part of the topic. And now he's trying to hand me off sunglasses. I don't know why. No, not me. Anyways.
If I do this in cameo one more time, I'm a different person.
Anyways. Now, what was this guy thinking? I think he was trying to be, because he was trying to tell me to mind my own business. Well, wait a minute. If I needed to mind my business, what was he doing to the little old lady? Protecting her dog. I can see if she'd been beating the dog with a belt or something like that. And I've seen neighborhoods where that happened. I couldn't see him in that neighborhood. They would have shot him. But I hadn't seen her do any harm to the dog. Just check it and make it behave. People do that all the time with their animals. I can see if she was beating the dog, then it becomes an issue. So basically, this guy was trying to be a bully and trying to be tough. Another incident, and this has been the same person twice. The intended victim, strange enough, was me. The guy in question, approximately 5'10", dresses like a Brady Bunch reject, and actually had the gall to be trying to tell me I'm trying to be a girl, all this other stuff. Threatened to molest my old lady. Well, for those of you fans that don't know, I'm my mother's caretaker, so I happen to live with her. That's my old lady. He was threatening to molest my mother. The man almost died right then and there. But why do people do these type of things? I don't know the guy. Why try and intimidate me? I could be some serial psycho killer. I seriously doubt he's a fan of the show, or he'd been asking for an autograph. I would hope not. Anyways, now, But this all breaks down to words again. I think the saying goes, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a major falsehood. This is mainly said because we try to avoid being hurt by words. Words hurt us all the time, whether we like to admit it or not. So and such called me this. Oh my. And what does that amount to also? It amounts to lying. You know, you don't know somebody, so you're making up some type of character reference point on them, and you don't know about it. You don't know for sure. Words hurt us all the time. Now, lying can also be... Well, there's another situation. Well, right now, strangely enough, the tripod that I'm using is not mine. It is given to me by, strangely enough, a girl who used to be one of my camera people, who used to help with my shows. Me and her had a conflict of interest. The conflict of interest bounded to that a guy she used to date decided to date me. And she started stabbing me in the back. Things I did not know at the time. And as I'm looking back over time, there was a lot of things she kept trying to mess up for me, and I have no idea why. I had never done anything to her except for be her friend. She's now supposedly angry at me. She's got a 3 strikes rule. Last situation that happened that's supposedly a 3rd strike was things that were said about her that I hadn't said a word about. And the person who had said them fessed up to it. Had no problem with it. Said it point blank that he said it. He could care less about it. I was the one still getting the blame. And then I'm finding out that she's doing all this. I had pretty much the guy I had been dating that she used to date. Anyways. But she brought up all this stuff about me that had nothing to do with anything. Except for she was, well, I'll be talking about this anyways when it comes to on the talk about relationships. You know, about, my age. He's a bit younger, I'm a bit older. What was the big deal? She made it a big deal. You know, and currently the person he's with now, I'm almost afraid she's going to try and do it again this growing up. I don't know why I think she wants him back, but she's going to try and lie about that too and say, well, my current boyfriend's so wonderful. Her current boyfriend's lucky if you can find this pecker. But that's words again, and that's me being me. Now, unfortunately, we have the clowns here who I'm going to, since I'm trying to do a serious shoot here. Now, as I was saying, as far as lying goes, that also...
I'm another person!
Joe, people are gonna... Joe, your ratings are gonna go up.
Who's thinking about you now? If you were building a wall, well, who would tear it all down and pull you through? Well, who's thinking about you?
Sorry, we had to take a brief interlude. Unfortunately, a question was being asked by one of the people here. If I can retract my thoughts on this real quick. That's why there will be the little interlude section on this. As if bullying comes in all types of forms. There are those who bully verbally. There's those that bully by lying or trying to cause trouble for other people. For instance, I keep finding out things that the girl in question is trying to do right now and things she has already done. And funny thing is, she's got a big mouth. Last thing she tried to do, which I think is funny, 8 different people told me about it, including the girl who was trying to help her, thinking she's doing the right thing, didn't know that the girl was also calling her a big dumb person and all this other stuff behind her back. That's sad. To me, that's just sad, that's mean, that's cruel. And yeah, I'm obviously never going to become friends with this girl again because she's a liar and she's mean. And she's a bully and she thinks she knows what's right for everybody. She's only 23. She still lives with her mommy and daddy. We're rich. Very, very rich. Okay, they don't have leisure type money. They both work, but they work jobs that gives them... They have lots of this. She wants to cry because her car is 6 years old and it was given to her. I would love for a relative just to give me a car. You know, and it's only 6 years old? Well, it's falling apart. Take it in to see a mechanic. Anyways, to get back to being serious on this for a second. As far as me growing up goes, and this has always been my thoughts on this, and for those of you that are feeling bullied, are being bullied, one, don't give up hope, and two, don't let yourself be bullied. Seriously, I don't care if you get whipped, hurt, whatever. Punch back, fight back. But don't ever put up with being bullied, ever. Someone put your hands on you, put your hands back. You know, whether you win or lose, they know that you're not going to stand there and just take it. You know, if you happen to be smaller than that, pick up a 2x4, pick up a baseball bat. But fight back. So, anyways, unfortunately, I'm hearing background noises from people who have no idea what the show's about. Okay, and I've also got someone who's trying to become famous on the cameos. I'll make sure to bleep him out. And I have ways of doing this, too. Anyways, those are my thoughts today on bullying and lying. And I'll probably have to record some more on this after I review what's on here and double check and see. I'll make sure I've covered all my basic notes on this. But as far as if you are being bullied, one, either report it or fight back. Those are your choices. But don't put up with being bullied. Don't put up with any of it, really. So as I said before, this is thoughts. And as I said, with any topic, take a look at both sides of the issue and judge for yourself. Don't let some loudmouth idiot tell you what you're supposed to think. Especially not me. Even though I'm usually right. So this is Thoughts, and you have a good day.
Wait, before you do.
Who's thinking about you now? If you were building a wall, or who would tear it all down and pull you through? Or who's thinking about you?
Welcome back to Thoughts. Now, as you can see, I'm in a little quieter area. This is actually a classroom here at Columbus State. And this is my friend Kenny, who, of course, we've talked to before on gun control. And he offered to talk with me about bullying. To recap some of what we've gone over real quick, and some new stuff on the girl who was bullying me. I just found out she's trying to blacklist me. I think this is funny. This is also very middle schoolish. I would say high school, but you know, I've seen high school drama. This is middle school drama, and so far the only person she's got not to talk to me is one person. Everybody else has asked me what's going on. So welcome to middle school drama, bullying, lying, and words. Danny?
What's up?
Okay, now you've watched the previous as far as what I've done so far on bullying.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your thoughts on this?
Honestly, bullying just as a whole it's completely uncalled for. Period. For somebody to sit there and try and bully somebody because you got a better looking toy than somebody else, or your clothes just don't match up. It's really kind of petty and pathetic. And the sad part is that bullying doesn't stop at the middle school, high school level. It gets carried on to a lot of the workforces. I've actually been bullied quite a few times at jobs. Won't say the name of the companies by no means. When I was in the military, I got bullied a couple times too. But at the same time, too, when a guy gets bullied compared to a woman, it's completely different. It's a double standard, it's a double-edged sword. For a guy, it's just considered toughening him up. For a woman, it's considered harassment or whatever. It's just a very blurry line on the whole subject matter. Period.
Okay, now you heard where I was talking about what happened with the little old lady and the guy who was trying to harass her about her dog. What do you think was running through his mind?
That's a little old lady. He's bigger. He's supposed to be better. It's like, no, dude, you're just that much more of a queer-bait faggot. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, as I've said before in a couple of my shows, no, Kenny does know I'm gay, and my fans know I'm gay, so it doesn't bother me. No, I was calling the guy that, so it's like, because after all, he was calling me a fag, and I'm looking at him like going, really? Oh, swishy one.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah. Sorry, darling, I turned you down at that bar. You were just a little too flaming for me. So,
I would pull out my lighter, but we got sprinkler system and all that.
Now, originally I had planned to shoot this in another one of the parks, because I'm thinking, especially this time of year, it's a good time to just get up to the parks and relax. And with all the tension and everything going on, oh boy. Update real quick while I'm thinking about this on Ricky. Unfortunately, because some of you asked me how he's doing and everything, he got fired. He got stranded in Kentucky, and me and a couple of friends managed, along with his mom, managed to go down and get him. So he is back here in Columbus. Somebody's trying to help him out. Keep your fingers crossed this time. We actually can get him some help. He's a really good guy, a bit hard-headed, but other than that, he's like a little bro to me. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on this. And with that, it does amount to bullying again too, because of reasons why they fired him, which I'm not going to go into because those are his reasons and his to deal with, and not for me to be putting out publicly. So, but Ricky, if you're watching this, I wish you the best of luck and hope everything turns out for you. A friend of mine's actually keeping him at his place, and he wants to go back to where he was training at, and because there were job possibilities, things like that. So I'm hopeful for him. Now back to bullying. Now we won't mention names. We will treat the girl like Lord Voldemort. She shall not be named.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh dear Lord, no. But the girl who's trying to cause me all this trouble currently.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
What about her?
Yeah, is that bullying or what?
I think it's starting to go from bullying into harassment, which is actually a legal issue. And the problem is, though, is that bullying is technically harassment. It just goes by a different name. That's really what it's coming down to. Like, I'm friends with everybody on this sector. I'm not trying to pick sides or choose sides. It's not what I do. I try to see the good in everybody until you've proven me enough to where, this is what you've done, this is what you're doing. You just got to balance everything out, to the point to where, the way I look at it, as long as my name's not getting pulled into it, I will still converse with both parties. I will not reveal any information from one party to the next, because I don't pick sides. And either which way, you're going to be picking a side by doing that.
Yeah. But why am I the one getting the drama dumped on me?
Because you're a good person, Joe, and we love you.
Okay. Now, are there any other thoughts you want to, as far as because most of the time what we run into as far as bullying goes, and we're actually talking about what's happening with adults, is schoolyard bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Little kids, but little kids are going to little kids, and this is what they're picking up from their adults around them. So, that's something to think about on that, as far as if your child's being accused of bullying in school.
How do you stop it?
How do you stop it, one? And two, where did they learn it from? Did they learn it from you, or do you bully the child itself? Now the child needs to bully somebody else.
Well, they say bullying is more of just pent-up aggression that can't be released in an everyday setting. And these children, they see something, whether it's, you talk down to your wife or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cousin, or whoever, and they think that it's okay. It kind of goes along the same lines as, kids becoming violent due to video games, movies, or shit like that. You have to take the time to explain it to them. It's like, hey, this is not right. I apologize. I lost my control. I lost my cool. Don't ever do this. As a parent, you have to take responsibility for your actions, even if you don't, even as minute as you think they are. You have to still take responsibility for those actions. If the child says, "Hey, I saw you do it with mommy," or or with Sandy, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or whoever you are, we love you all the same. But when it boils down to it, it's the offender who the child learned it off of. That is their responsibility to nip it in the butt as soon as possible. But here's where it gets really kind of difficult at. How do you nip violence and anger type behaviors without trying to make it worse, really? Because you bully a kid, you're going to spank them, and you send them off to his room with no dinner for the night. They're going to have time to sit here and pent up all that frustration. The best thing to do is sit down and talk to the kids. I know it seems cliche, but it does work. It does work. And if it push comes to shove, get the little bastards into counseling. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt them at all. It's, if anything, you can find the source of the aggression, where it's at. The parents can be equally as involved with it. And you're going to have a non-violent situation. Now, see, I'm not one person to sit there and say, everybody needs counseling. Because we all do. Let's just face it. Shut the hell up! But, it just boils itself down to that. What are you going to do to a kid who's, outwardly violent? How are you going to contain that violence without incorporating more violence to the kid? It's kind of like it goes back to jail. You send 16-year-old kid to jail for a violent offense, he's not going to get any better because nobody's talking to him. He's just going to pick up more and more tools to become a better criminal. Essentially, that's what it is. You know, I don't know how else to talk about it. You know, workplace bullying, that could be anything from like your manager constantly cutting you down because you're not living up to his standard, yet you're living up to the company standard. I've worked at quite a few places to where I threw stock for a company. Again, we won't mention any names, but they said the standard was supposed to be like 35, 45 boxes an hour. So why did I get fired for low productivity when I'm doubling and tripling their times? I'm doubling and tripling what they're telling me I need to throw. But yeah, ironically, that day, I told my boss that I was being called away on military-based work. That night, I got my pink slip and got told that my productivity was low. Kind of fishy, don't you think?
Very.
You know, another job I worked at 2 jobs with this one manager. First time I worked with him, I worked with him, and he was my shop supervisor as a mechanic. Would not teach me anything. Expected me to know everything right off rip. But he yelled at me whenever my numbers were down. He never tried to educate me in what we were doing. Although a lot of the stuff, he wouldn't even move me up unless I went to school and got my ASC certifications. But yet, how can I have my ASC certifications if I don't get any proper wrench time? You know. And the second time, I trusted the guy again because I needed a job. Just left the other company and said, "Screw it, I need a job. I need to do something." Went to go
Now,
work.
wait a minute. If he was suddenly working from one company to another company, was he terminated?
Come to find out, he was terminated from the other job because his numbers weren't up to snuff through the company.
Because he wasn't doing his job like he was supposed to.
So of course we all got the blame for it as the garage key. The second job I worked at, I was in parts delivery. I worked with him as my commercial accounts manager, and every single time that something would pop up, it was my fault. Car broke down. I wasn't even in the office one day, and he sat there and told me, "Car broke down because you're out there doing this. You're out there doing that." How can I? I wasn't even on the clock for like the past 3 days. I was on vacation. How's that my fault? You know, because your guys don't want to do the maintenance as well, but yet counting down registers was not part of my job. The only things that I didn't do was count down registers, count down safes, open the shop, and lock shop up. That's it. Everything else, I did. And I did it with a smile on my face, even though he dogged me out to my customers, in front of my customers, and dogged out me about the customers. You know, it's like nothing I ever did was ever good enough. And for 27 straight months, I took it because I needed the job. Until finally one day I blew up on him, and 2 weeks later, I'm getting my pink slip from my district. And at that point, I didn't care. Because shortly after that, I got fired in September. March of 2012, I started here. And I've been so much happier. Because here, everybody is equal. Everybody accepts that. And everybody is supposed to treat us like that. Whether they do or not is up to them. But for a good majority of the part, you know, here at Columbus State, everybody gets treated fairly. And that's by, you know, a good 99% of the professors. I'm not ever going to say 100% because there's always that one professor out there. We know who they are, but, you know, it is what it is.
Unfortunately. Lord knows, I've had math classes where it was like, understand? No, because I got jumped to the wrong class. And, well, no, that teacher was actually very nice about it. He knew I didn't know what was going on.
Who really does in math, really?
Yeah.
But that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, it's a whole other subject, and one I will never, ever, ever cover on this show. No, you will never hear me do a topic about math. No.
How awesome it is.
Yeah, math is awesome. Ugh.
Stop smoking crack. Get out of here.
Okay. But yeah, we're running out of time right now because unfortunately he has to go pick up his mother.
I love her.
But this is thoughts, and as I've said before, and I've already said a couple times on this show already, you know, take a look at both sides of the topics.
You have to. You got to look at where somebody starts out at and how they got to that point, and see how that's impacting them. If that's somebody,
and make the decision for yourself. Don't let some loudmouth, even me, even though I know everything, you know, make the decision for you. Okay, so this is Josie Jameson, this is Thoughts, and this is it on words, bullying, and lying. Now, one real quick thing I want to add on this, as you guys know, there's a comment section below on this. If you have a comment, or you have an idea for a topic, I've got a billion of them, but if someone says, hey, I want to see what this guy covers on this topic,
Do it.
Put it down there. Yeah, put it down there. I have no trouble with this. I have no trouble doing my research on topics. As you've seen so far, I've covered everything from gay marriage to
Which was awesome.
homelessness to, so, you know, I try and cover all the topics. I'm actually going to be doing one. I'm got to do some more research on the Trayvon Martin case. I still think,
Lord.
yeah, that one's going to be interesting. And I'll be talking to a variety of different people on that about racism. It's a crying shame, but apparently it still exists live today. So this is Thoughts, and this is Josie James. As I said, think for yourself. Out.
Who's thinking about you now? If you were building a wall, or who would tear it all down and pull you through? Or who's thinking about you